then it says this down here, plumbing and drainage under the slab should be avoided where possible. Where possible. Got me? I don't know how you could word that any other way, but I don't know how that's possible. We'll get to that in a second. Here is the first clear mention that 20 mil thick lagging on highly reactive sites. I question that. That should be probably on moderately reactive sites because you've got 20 to something millimetres on an M site, and 20 millimetres movement is enough to break a junction. So that should be probably on moderate sites.
Can I explain very quickly? The 70 mils YS value, which you're referring to for H stands, theoretically you go through the long hang design process,
Yes.
you come out with a maximum movement of 35 mils.
Yes.
Right? Therefore 40 is all you need.
Yes. But
That's the logic.
what worries me, I understand that, and Dominic has explained lots of times that the relationship is 70%, if I remember right. But what worries me is that people see this and say 20 millimetres thick on highly reactive sites. That's the annulus on highly reactive sites. Oh, I'm building on M, it doesn't have anything. They do this in New Zealand. They have a sleeve, a plastic sleeve that goes, let's say that's a straight pipe. The pipe is covered with a plastic sleeve. The concrete is poured, and their belief is that because they can move inside the sleeve, that's an expansion joint. And their head inspectors believe that too. And that comes straight from brains. So whatever happens as far as this movement, that movement, or whatever, is not even considered. This is brilliant. For slab or strip footings on highly or extremely reactive sites, again, I'd rather start with moderate. In drains within 3 metres of buildings shall incorporate a mechanical flexible coupling. Hallelujah. That was the first time that that wording has been put in, because this means it's not a rubber joint. This is a mechanical flexible coupling, and that's what's needed. Again, under the slab be avoided where practical. And this one here, flexible joints at the exterior of the slab, flexible joints at the exterior of the slab, bummed into a brick, they'll put a rubber sleeve in. Again, should be mechanical, flexible joints, because you've got the three-dimensional movement. These are some of, not all of them, some of the laggings that you can buy, just commercial. Styrene, split in half, and it just goes over the pipe, and then you pour it into position, and it's good, but it suffers from the fact that it can't be compressed very much. So if a big block of concrete takes the styrene and does that to it, it's going to transfer that stress to the IO. Am I making sense? Yeah. Whereas the closed cell polyethylene lagging, you can wrap it up to give you 20 mils as per the code, or you can wrap it up to 40 mils as per the code in extremely reactive sites, and you just simply add more and more layers to it, and it's not expensive. That should be stated on every single pipe work, on any drawing. Is any of this coming across as being biased?
Yes. There's no plumbers here, so keep going.
Lagging, this is something else. Pipe lining and lagging. It's great. No movement, no expansion, no contraction, no twisting, no nothing. Great repair job, but hey, it needs the joints, because it does not allow for any movement in any reactive soils. Under slab drainage, where you saw that they say that, and we've been saying this for years, don't do this because that's going to crack, that's going to crack, that's going to crack. Crack it along there. And at least you can get to the cracked areas or have it repaired at a not so significant cost. Because if you do this, what we're asking for and what we're going to see between now and 2050 is hugely increased through the slab plumbing repairs. Through your tiles, through your carpet, through your kitchen, through your bedroom, through your lounge, to repair a broken pipe. Because you can't get to it. This is, I can't answer this problem. I don't know what to say. There's your zero alignment. That's one edge of the property. That's the other edge of the property. That's your takeoff over there. And those drawn lines are what the drainer did before the pour. That's it. And we've got places in WA, Joondalup, who I cannot put my hand between the houses. One after the other, yeah. We've got them in Melbourne, which is butted up against each other. You used to believe once, and I guess I'll use our vintage, we used to have a backyard. We used to bring kids up, had a kitchen facing the backyard. Wife used to look at the kids playing in the backyard. Today, nobody plays in the backyard. They play on a computer. They play video games. Consequently, a lot of the designing, and Dominic has been instrumental in this, the kitchen is right in the middle of the house. And that's what the drainage has got to reach. But unfortunately, it's got to go underneath it.
Well, just to ask a question there, Paul.
Sure.
When they're doing that, most of the houses that are built in Queensland or northern New South Wales, they prepare a pad platform, and that plumbing is likely to be in a granular bed.
In the void?
No, not in a
They make
void.
a void?
In a void if you're on pods, but if you're on a granite and hung from the slab with stainless steel straps.
Don't have a problem. Great. It's
And
actually.
you put the flexible as you cross out of the slab.
Yep. That's actually a really good way of doing things, because whatever the slab's going to do, your pipe's hopefully going to follow. It's where we have the problem, like, can I use this?
That's what it's there.
I can get rid of what's on.
You like?
What's on there, Mr. President?
It's where we have the problem, like, and this is not a criticism, this is just a reflection of the thinking that we come across when we did a trip around Perth, Bunbury, Geraldton, and Kalgoorlie. And we found that in those areas, on H soils, and thank God they're called H1 and H2, what they did was, under the footprint of the house, dug down 400 mils and removed that soil and filled it with sand. Sometimes they put a liner in. And then the house would be put on an 85 millimetre thick slab, like that. And they would call that house being built on an A site.
With the F62 mesh.
F62 mesh.
Probably F362 or 462.
And the plumbing, where did he go? We couldn't believe it. And Danilo touched on a real point close to my heart, is that Australian Institute of Building Surveyors are really starting to feel the squeeze of all engineering or so-called engineering designs that are expected to meet good standards. And the building surveyors, and you correct me if I'm wrong here, please, Danilo, the building surveyors have no choice, they have no argument, it is designed. He clearly said in his presentation that the building inspector has the right to ask for the drawings. Correct? He's got the right to ask for the calculations. And Dominic, who's taught more inspectors than probably anybody else in this room, has said that the surveyor has got the opportunity to have the engineer say to him, prove it. Is that correct?
Yeah.
All the builders we spoke to on that trip were too afraid to sort of take on the arguments of an engineer. And so this sort of stuff is just getting done everywhere. Crazy.